Hey guys, this is E with Scrapbooking with me. And do you remember those little candy books that you used to get at Christmas? And you may still can, I don't know. I don't look for them anymore since I don't have any small children at home. But they were the little books that opened up and then they had two different sections on each side, and I think they had lifesavers in them. We're going to make something similar to that today. It's not going to be exactly, but it's going to be close, and you'll be able to hold lots of different things in it. So the first thing you're going to need is a piece of paper, and I'm going to use cardstock. You can use cardstock, design paper, whatever. 12 inches by 8 inches. So a piece of cardstock that is 12 by 8. Now on the 12-inch side, what we're going to do is do some scoring. If I can find my score tool. There it is. Alright, we're going to score, and let me adjust my camera so I can get it be in frame. We're going to score at 1/4 of an inch. And 4 7/8. 7 1/8, 11 3/4. Okay, so that's the scoring on that side. Then you're going to turn it to the 7-inch side, or the 8-inch side, I'm sorry. And you're going to score at 1 inch. And at 7 1/2. Okay, so that has your scoring. Now we're going to do a little bit of cutting, trimming. So on the wide 1-inch piece right here where we scored that 1-inch line, we're going to cut up on these center marks. And then we're going to cut in just a little bit, give that a little bit of a notch. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Just like that. And then we're going to cut off these little boxes here on the end because we don't really need those. We're going to cut off these little boxes up here, and we're going to kind of cut those at an angle. Kind of like that on both of these. Okay. And we're going to cut up on this side as well. And I'm going to angle these in too. Okay. So that should get your cutting. And I should have went ahead and folded this and burnished it before I cut. But you know me, I'm always anxious to get to that cutting part. Oh well, it works the same. It just takes me a little bit longer. Okay, so we folded those and burnished them, and now we're going to fold the center part and burnish it really well. Okay, so there we have the outside of the little fold, of the little candy fold. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to glue these, or I'm going to use some of this real skinny score tape. This is 1/8 of an inch. We're going to put these down because we want this edge to be finished off. We don't want to have a raw edge of paper. I don't like a paper with a raw edge. When I'm making something, I like for it to be a little bit sturdier, and therefore it doesn't, you know, fray up and the paper doesn't crack that much. So let's put those down. So you're just going to fold it in, just like that. And these are just the little 1/4 inch pieces that you created when you did your scoring. So just going to fold that one in. And see, that finishes that edge of that paper off real nice so that it doesn't crack. And now this piece, we're just going to fold it up because we really don't need it for anything, but I don't want to cut it off because it does give it a little bit more stability to this center part. So we're just going to put some score tape on this and then just fold it up. Okay, so just fold that up to the center like that. So now you've got that much. And now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on this top. We're going to fold those down. That's going to keep us from having a raw edge at the top. You don't have to do this. You can just cut the paper, you know, just leave this part off if you want to. I just like doing it because, like I said, I don't like that raw edge on the paper. Because usually if you handle it a little bit, then the paper starts cracking or fraying or something and it gets bent. I left a little notch right there, so I'm going to cut that off. This just makes it a little bit stronger. Put that one up. And we'll fold that one in. So now we have all of the edges, except these, that they don't have a raw edge to them. They're finished off. So I like that. Okay, so we're going to lay this one aside for just a minute, and then we're going to take 2 more pieces of cardstock, and these measure, let me move my phone so I can see my measurements. These measure, I can't talk today, 6 by 7 inches. These are going to be our little inside pockets. So on the 7-inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch, at 3 inches, at 4 inches, and at 6.5 inches. And then you're going to turn it, and you're going to score at 1 inch and at 5 inches. You're going to do the same thing on the other one. So put it in on the 7-inch side. You're going to score at 1/2 inch, 3 inches, 4 inches, and 6.5 inches. You're going to turn it, score it at 1 inch and at 5 inches. Okay. Now, like I said, this is going to make our little inside pockets. So we're going to go ahead and fold on all of our score lines. Now, this is a very heavy cardstock. So what I'm doing is I'm folding in on my score lines. As you can see, this is the bump or the mountain of my score line. This is the side I made it on. I'm folding it this way. If I fold it the other way, my paper will crack. So I fold it away from where I made the score line. That helps the paper from cracking if you have a really thick cardstock. And I know I've had people say, you're folding it the wrong way. Yes, I do when it's really heavy cardstock. I do fold it the wrong way, but it's the right way to keep it from cracking. As you can see, my paper didn't crack at all. But if I had folded it the other way, most likely it would have. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to cut up on these score lines on either side. And we're going to notch these out just a little bit. Don't have to do a whole lot, just a little. Do the same thing over here. Okay, and then you're going to cut these little squares right here at the end. You're going to cut those off. You don't need those. So just cut those. Oops. Cut those off, but cut them straighter than I did. Okay. And the same thing on the other end. Okay, you're going to have something that looks like that. And we're going to do the other one the same way. Okay, now that we have both of these cut, what we're going to do is go right here on these little inside tabs, and we're going to taper those just a little bit. We're going to take just a tiny notch out of them, just to take out some of that bulk when we start putting this little box together. Okay. And now you just need to put some score tape or glue, whatever you want to use. I go back and forth. I use score tape and I use glue. If it's something that I'm afraid that I'm going to have to be careful with and I might have to move it, then I use my glue. This is something that's going to glue right flat down, so it doesn't matter. Put it on these two flaps and you're just going to fold those over. That's going to finish those edges. Do the same thing on the other side. And pull it back under. There we go. Got those edges finished off. Now it's going to fold up. It's going to fold up just like this on both sides. Now what I like to do, since you did taper this off, and you can't really, and you tapered this one, you can't really put it together correctly like that, you might get it a little crooked. I just put my little flap to the inside, and then I put these two pieces together, and I just make sure that this top, that both of the top lines on those two meet. When they meet, then I put some glue under there, and make sure that you bring your glue right to the edge. Don't worry about if you get a little bit of this glue on the outside, because it does dry clear. It's not going to hurt anything. I always get a little on the outside because I'm a little bit heavy-handed when it comes to this kind of stuff. Alright, so we got that glued down. And then see, on the inside you'll have your little flap in there. And what I do then is I just take my glue and put a little down in there and press that down. And that closes my flap up. Now make sure that you put these together the same way. Like this one, I folded this flap over to the back, so I'm going to do the same thing on this end. That way you'll have a good finished edge for the front of your pocket. So I'm going to put my glue on this. And then I'm going to make sure that I get the top edges straight. There you go. It finished that little box off really good. Then I'm going to go down in there and I'm going to put a little bit of glue down in there to close that flap down. Just like that. Okay. So there are our two little boxes. Now what these are going to do is these are actually going to sit down right there on that bottom portion, just like that. Now on either end of this, I am going to taper that off just a little bit because I don't need all of that down at the bottom. So I'm just taking a little bit of a taper on both edges. And now you're ready to stick your box down. And you want to stick this box down. First off, you want to make sure that your rounded corners, that your closed up corners are facing out. And you want to put it down just as close to this inside score line right here as possible. Not on top of it, but just close. That way you're not going to have any opening on the inside in there. Okay, that looks good right there. I am going to use some score tape on this because I want this to stick really well in case I put something a little bit heavy in there. So on this one I'm going to use some 1/4 inch score tape. You could use liquid glue, that's fine. You don't have to use score tape. So we're going to put those, that's something on that paper, I don't know what it is. Those on either side like that. And now we're going to take these little bottom pieces and we're going to pull them up and glue them to the bottom of that. And I'm just going to use some regular art glitter glue. And I say regular, this stuff is a long way from being regular. I love this stuff. I know I say that all the time, but if you have used it, you know what I'm talking about. If you have not used it, you don't know what you're missing. This stuff is ideal. And then I'm just going to turn it up, and I'm going to put the end of my bone folder down in there and just give it a good press. Back and forth. And that will make all of that glue catch really smooth. And we're going to do it on this end as well. So there are your little boxes. When you close it up, there are the boxes down in there. And now you're ready to decorate. But you can see we have finished off edges so that there's no raw edges anywhere. And we're just ready to decorate. You could do these in different colors. This a different color from the backing. Just whatever. You don't have to do it all in one color like I am. I'm going to use the Graphic 45 St. Nicholas to cover this with. With these two little image postcard things that I've cut out of the paper pack, and I'm going to put those on each side of that. But I am going to distress these with Vintage Photo. So I'm going to distress the edges. Remember, when you're distressing the edges of paper that you have cut, it takes care of that little white edge that you have there where you cut the paper. Plus it gives it just a little bit of dimension and a finished off look. So put that one there. I don't like that white edge where you cut the paper. Now I have cut a few pieces of just this, little pieces that you can cut aparts. I have cut some of those out, and I have just put a black backing on them, and then I'm just going to glue these down here. I think that's cute. I think it's pretty. Looks Christmassy. And then this is just part of the outside of the paper, this little portion right here, and I just cut it off, and I'm going to put it right there to make it look like it's just a little awning or a little top to the sheet. Just kind of finishes that off a little bit. And I'm just putting it right up against where I folded that over. So I think that will work, and I'm going to distress this a little bit as well. And I'm using the Vintage Photo. You could use an ink that matches your paper. Doesn't matter. I just like the look of the Vintage Photo. I think I'm going to put down some of these enamel dots, and these are from last year's collection. It's called Have a Merry Christmas. I think I'm going to use those dark green ones. And I'm just going to use some of the bigger ones on either end of this. And I'm going to stay away from putting any dimension here, just because of that reason that I was telling you before, that you just can't put any dimension there and it closes right. So we're going to do that over there. Okay, so we're going to leave the inside alone for a little while, and we're going to go to the outside. Okay, so I cut this paper at 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, and I am using an 8 by 8 paper pad. Okay, and this piece for the spine is 2 inches by 6 1/4. So we're going to distress these, and then we'll put these down. Now I think I'm going to put Mr. Santa on here. I would like for him to be a little bit smaller, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, I did cut the Santa down, the Santa cutout down. I cut all the frame from out around him because I wanted to back him in red so that he wouldn't blend in so much with the background. So I think that looks a lot better. And then this one I did the same way on there. That's going to be the spine part. And then up here, what I'm going to use is, this is another one of the cutouts, and that's way too long. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it look like a banner on the ends. So we're just going to cut that off, and we'll find the center right there. So, got a banner on that end, and then we're going to do the same thing. Let's see. Nope. We're going to leave a banner on one end, but not on the other. Yeah, that's going to work. So we're going to cut this one off right there. Let's see if that works. Yes, that works. Alright, again, we're going to distress this so it can cover up all of those white edges and get a little vintage look going here. And I'm coming on up on the piece with my distress tool, just because I want some of that white covered up. I don't want that to be so prominent there. So there we go. That'll work just like that. Okay, we're going to finish this guy up, and if you're wondering what this is, this was one that I made for my prototype, and I'm just going to put that right there so that it'll hold that end up. So I have cut my pieces. I backed these in red. I'm not going to back this anything because I'm going to kind of pop it up off the page a little bit, and I want this to kind of look like a banner that's flying through the air. So I'm going to do it just like that. I'm going to tip the ends up a little bit, roll this up, and then we'll put our foam tape down under there. So I'm going to put one piece on this end, and then I'm just going to put one piece right here where it's going to hit the next time. It's only two places that I want stuck down. So I'm going to start it right there, and then I want it to, let's see, about right there. And then these can kind of curl a little bit. There we go. Just like that. And I know you can't, there you go, you can see that dimension now. And then we're going to pop this up as well. And I'm going to put foam tape down each side and across the bottom, and I'm going to leave this top open, and I'll show you why in just a second. And now what I want to do is I want to have this kind of sliding down in there like that, where they can just get a peek of it. And this one's going to have to kind of lay down on there, so I don't mind this one going on with my glue. We're going to slide that in there just like that. They might think there's something down in there. That would be cool. Okay, then I have, well, we'll go ahead and glue these pieces down first before I do anything else. I'm not going to put dimension on the spine part. And then for the back, we have this piece. It's like a postcard that come out of the same paper pack, but then on here you could write to and from. And I'm going to distress this. Okay, let me show you this little tiny stamp. Look at that. And I'm going to put that right there where the stamps go. This was out of the paper pad as well. I think that's cute. And it just fits in that little postage part right there. Okay, now I have these little pieces that I have had for a while. I can't even remember what they came in. It was a little set of things. I know these look kind of childish, but I think on here they'll look okay, because there's a little teddy bear. So we have a little gingerbread guy there. We have Santa's glasses that I think might look cute right there, and then a little stocking right there. There we go. Okay, so that's the outside so far. I think that's cute. And the inside looks cute. So all we're going to do now is we're going to use some of our Wink of Stella pens. And I am going to use the clear, I think. I'm going to use the clear just to put a little bit of shine on here. So it made those guys pop. And then we're going to do a little bit on Santa. And I probably should have done the front first, since the inside's not completely dry yet, but that's okay. And now we're just going to use a tiny bit of our Nouveau, and this is in Ruby Slippers. I think this is the closest to red that I have. I'm just going to put a little bit in the center of the flowers. Remember, this stays dimensional, so when it dries it'll still have that dimension to it. It won't flatten out. And then I also put a little bit up here on this. And I think we're going to call that done. Let you see it. See the dimension on those and the glitter. Okay, so we have finished. All I did off camera, and I didn't mean to do it off camera, it's just that I forgot to hit record, is I used a little bit of the Nouveau glitter drops, and this is in Golden Sunset, and I just traced that little swirl that was sitting there. And then you saw me put all of the Wink of Stella all over it. All of this is dry. And then I put two pieces of bling, one there and one there, and then 3 little pieces of bling there. And then to keep it closed, as you can see, it's staying closed, I went down inside the little pocket right here, and I put a magnet backwards, and that holds it together. Okay, now this can hold whatever you want it to. I made the pockets wide enough that it can hold a Kleenex, can hold a little bottle of lotion, can hold some hand sanitizer, it can hold candies. If you want to put a bunch of candies in there for a friend, it can hold candies. It can hold candy bars. You can put candy bars down in there. It will also hold lifesavers, the big round lifesavers. It'll hold those. You could fill this up with lifesavers. And if your friend is a crafty friend, it will also hold these Nouveau bottles. It'll hold 3 on each side. Oops. So it holds 3 of those on each side and then closes up. So there you go. Sweet little gift. You could use it for anything that you wanted. If you just wanted to put a gift card in here, some money in there, an envelope in here. You could also make cards, Christmas cards, and put cards on one side, envelopes on another. And they would be kind of small, I think, but let's see. This is 4 inches wide, so that'd be the width of them. But that is it, guys. It's not hard. You know, the decorating took me more time than anything. The cutting out of the paper and putting everything together was really, really simple. Decorating takes me a little bit of time because I have to make up my mind as to what I want to do. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please let me know if you make this. Also, if some people have said that they are not subscribed any longer and that, you know, I may have unsubscribed them. No, I have not. I'm thinking that it's a YouTube thing because I've heard other people on YouTube tell their subscribers the same thing, that if you're unsubscribed, it's a YouTube glitch, and just go hit that subscribe button again. So go down and check and make sure that that subscribe button says subscribed. If it doesn't, go ahead and click it again. Also, don't forget about our giveaway. The link will be right here at the top, as well as in the description below. All of the items that I have used today will be listed in the description below with links that'll take you directly to them. And we will talk to you guys later. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and hit that subscribe button. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.